African Americans in California. Let's take a look.
I'm really happy to be here, sitting in the Golden State Building Memorial Plaza, behind the historic Golden State Mutual Life Insurance Building. Amazing history on many, many levels. The building was opened in 1949, and it was a significant accomplishment for the African American community. It was the headquarters for the Golden State Mutual Life Insurance Company that had been started several decades earlier by a businessman named William Nickerson. And he soon teamed up with two other businessmen, Norman Houston and George Beavers, because they saw a need to sell life insurance to predominantly the African American community. Because at that time, in the 1920s, 1930s, African Americans were not able to purchase life insurance. They saw a business need, and they filled it by starting this company. They started their first business in the 1920s. They opened the first office in 1928. And then they were able to build in 1949 this flagship building designed by the preeminent African-American architect, Paul Revere Williams. So this building was designated a historic cultural monument in 2011. The murals in the building were also an important part of the history. From the very beginning, the Golden State Mutual Life Insurance valued art. So they commissioned two prominent African-American artists, Hale Woodruff and Charles Austin, to do a mural that would depict the history of African Americans in California. When the building was designated in 2011, the insurance company was in bankruptcy, and there was a real need for the people that were receiving the building, including the state of California, to liquidate as many assets as possible. And the state of California viewed those murals as an asset, and they wanted to remove them from the building so that they could sell them. A representative of the state of California came before our commission to argue that the murals were not an integral part of the building. But we knew that the murals had been painted onto the walls of the building. There are doors that go through the murals. It was clear to us that they were an integral part, not only of the building, but of the history of the building. So the murals are intact, they're in the building, they've been beautifully restored. So it was a real win for the preservation of the murals. Buildings that are designated as historic can be adaptively reused, as the example of the Golden State Building here. It's no longer an insurance company, but it's serving a new need to serve people with developmental disabilities. There's many examples all over the city, so that I don't want to give the impression that we're here to just preserve things and keep them static, that they don't change. Our mission is to preserve the history of the spaces, not necessarily the uses of the spaces, because those places will tell our history.
Be sure to check out a more detailed list of LA's historical sites by visiting planning.lacity.org. The iconic murals created 20 years ago that tell the history of North Hollywood will now have a permanent home. Council President Paul Krikorian discussed the importance of preserving these art pieces during the ribbon-cutting ceremony at the historic Weddington House, where they will now be permanently displayed.
I'm just really thrilled that we're able to find a permanent home for these historic murals that tell the story of the history of North Hollywood. Over 20 years ago, these works of art were created, and they've been in storage since then.
Susan Krieg was the lead artist on it, She had come up with this concept of the artist drawing or painting on historical images, and then she came on top of it and drew the buildings as to what it would turn into. So the idea being the history of the land and then what it was going to become. So it's kind of a blueprint of what the buildings were going to look like. Right next door is this beautiful building next to a tiny little Weddington house, which is the history of the area.
The historic Weddington House. This house is the first house built in North Hollywood in the late 19th century. And it is now that we've preserved it, it's being used for arts and cultural and community events. And so we were able to bring these historic murals to their permanent home and have them displayed here for the people for everyone to be able to enjoy.
In our feature story this week, our own Maria Hall-Brown sits down with LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger. Supervisor Barger discusses the details of some of the services they provide to county residents, how they address crisis, and their close collaboration with the various cities in their districts. Let's hear the story.
2,785 square miles, 20 cities, 83 unincorporated areas. Yes, that is LA County's 5th district. So today I am delighted to be joined by the supervisor of said district, Catherine Barger. So nice to have you here.
It's a real pleasure to be here.
That is an enormous geographical span.
If you really look at the county, we are basically the mayor and the city council for the unincorporated areas. All my cities have elected representatives. The cities vote for us to get into office, but we collaborate with the cities. The great thing about the county is we are very nimble. Our budget process takes place and actually is very amicable as it relates to the CEO presents the budget based on what each department submits in terms of their needs. And then we deliberate, we have public hearings to let people come in and talk to us about what their concerns are. And that usually centers around parks, hours, pools, quality of life issues in their community and how they want to see the true discretionary funds allocated. I allocated $2.3 million for the 5th district in my discretionary funds, or our discretionary funds,
Correct.
They're not mine.
Right.
And that is for teams that are going to go out and do outreach. And there are both hosts, which is law enforcement focused, but also with LASA outreach workers that connect with services and housing. And I felt it was important. We're going to have 5 teams. One is going to be roaming throughout the entire 5th district, and others are going to be specific to the Antelope Valley, San Gabriel Valley, San Fernando Valley, as well as Santa Clarita.
Another crisis, unfortunately, happening with, the populace in general, fentanyl. And I know that that is another issue that you are extremely cognizant of. And how can you, as a supervisor, combat that?
I got an education from a father, a grieving father who lost his son. And I said overdose, and he said, it's not an overdose, it's a poisoning. And he was absolutely right. And so what are we doing in the county? We're providing Narcan to all school districts and making that available and training the schools on how to administer that. We're also making it available at our libraries, and for those that don't know what Narcan is, that will affect those that are overdosing and actually save their lives.
Another issue that you're very concerned about are veterans and the rate of suicide. What can be done to help these people who have, served our country?
They come back and they face a lot of obstacles, and many of them are committing suicide. So we put together the first of its kind suicide prevention program here in the county.
There's been some good foundational things put in place with this particular board that will last for a long time.
I think that one of the exciting things is looking at really what we can do. The glass ceiling has been cracked, and we are now making sure that with that, we're opening it up and making it so that women are on par with the men that are getting paid in the county. So we've made advances on really providing more opportunities for women and girls. We're also looking at diversion. So we're doing a lot of amazing things in the county, many of which people don't realize, but at the same time, it impacts their quality of life.
Enjoy the holidays by the sea at the Harbor Holiday Afloat Parade. Attend the Home for the Holidays Parade at Granada Hills, or join your community at the Walking in Our Light procession. All this up next on Things to Do.
Honor the light each person has to give by walking together as a united community. The Walking in Our Light procession celebrates the light in all people and honors those who have helped create a safe and nurturing neighborhood where every person, family, and business can thrive. Tosco Theater Director John Lawrence Rivera will lead the walk, adding elements of dance, music, and poetry that represent the diversity that makes up the Canoga Park neighborhood. The Walking in Our Light procession takes place Saturday, December 3rd at 4:30 p.m., beginning at the Tosco Theater. Don't miss the reception immediately after. For more information or to make reservations, check out culturela.org/events or email dolores.chavez@lacity.org. It's time to bundle up in your warmest holiday sweater and get your seat for the annual Port of Los Angeles Holidays by the Sea. The LA waterfront is the perfect place to host this annual kickoff to the holiday season. The tree lighting ceremony at the Maritime Museum will light the way for all the arts, crafts, music, and hot cocoa. Of course, Timmy the Duck will be there as the perfect backdrop for the main event, the Boat Parade. Boats of all shapes and sizes float through the harbor, lit up and decorated like you'll only see in Los Angeles. The big man himself will cruise by in a seaworthy vessel, fit for Santa, before the night is over. Holidays by the Sea kicks off in the Port of Los Angeles at 4 p.m. Saturday, December 3rd. For more information, log on to lawaterfront.org. The Valley's most neighborly town, Granada Hills, invites you home for the holidays with its annual parade. In its 39th year, the largest parade in the Valley will honor the traditions of the holidays and the magic of the season shared with family and friends at home. Over 3,000 youth are participating in this year's parade in marching bands and drill teams. You'll see floats, antique cars, and equestrian groups along the 1.8-mile parade route through the heart of the San Fernando Valley. No parade is complete without Mr. and Mrs. Claus officially ringing in the holiday season. The Granada Hills Holiday Parade kicks off Sunday, December 4th at 1:30 p.m. For more information, check out granadahillsholidayparade.org. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
I am David Torshan from International Languages Department, and our department is comprised of all subject areas in 30 languages, as well as language learning materials such as phrase books and dictionaries in 500 languages. This is a book in Italian, Incognito in Hollywood, translated into 3 languages, English, French, and Italian. Incognito, it's the same in all languages. And the word, of course, is borrowed from Italian into English. And from Italian, it's borrowed from Latin, incognitus, which means not known. When we open the book, there is a stamp here that says Foreign Department, and once upon a time that was the name of our department, and later it was changed to International Languages Department because it's more inclusive, the term international, than the word foreign. It is written by Joe Malatesta and illustrated by Irma Fisk-Austin. The book is published in Los Angeles in 1935. And the book is relevant today because it presents multilingual impressions of the author. At that time, many of the places of Hollywood were different, and the book is illustrated to show those differences.
You know, honey, I've been thinking. You're not prepared for an earthquake. Take this antique vase your mom got you. If the big one hit, be a goner. Or this clay penguin you made in 3rd grade. History. By simply strapping loose furniture to the wall and putting putty under loose items, you can prevent serious injury and damage. Nothing is safe, even poor Uncle Petey. Get the message? Be prepared.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. I'm Paul Krikorian, President of the City Council, and we're ready to begin today's meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, De Leon, Harris Dawson, Hutt, Koretz, Krikorian, Lee, O'Farrell, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Very good. Thank you very much. As permitted under Assembly Bill 3. Okay, so I was trying to proceed with the meeting, and I can't proceed because of the shouting in the audience. So I'm going to say this one time. There will be no disruptions of this City Council meeting. Anyone who actively disrupts the meeting will be removed from the chambers, pursuant to our council rules. If any person is removed from the council chambers, they will all be subject to exclusion from future meetings pursuant to our council rules as well, under council rules 7 and 12. So with that, we're ready to begin, and as permitted under Assembly Bill 361, public comment will be taken via teleconference as well as in person. So anyone who wishes to offer public comment at today's meeting who is here today can sign up at the kiosk. Sir, you're disrupting the meeting. I'm sorry, you've been warned. Please sit down and be silent, or else you'll be removed. Okay, thank you. You're not complying with my instructions. Please have a seat. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk. All right, so that's it. Sergeants, the two gentlemen who are standing on the right side of the chambers are disrupting the meeting. Please remove them. Sergeants, please remove those two individuals from the chambers. They've been warned now 3 times. I want them removed. That's enough. It's enough. You've been warned at every single meeting. It's enough. Remove them from the meeting.
It seems excessive what's on our right there.
Huh?
It seems excessive. So, just for members of the public, our apologies. While a couple of the members of the audience were disrupting, and the council president ordered them removed after warning them. So they were warned. They were told that they would be removed if they continued and possibly excluded pursuant to Rule 7. They kept going, and now they're arguing with the LAPD.
Okay. While our sergeants are trying to deal with the people who are disrupting the meeting, I'm going to make this clear again. If the City Council cannot proceed because people are standing in the center aisle, making noise, using noisemakers, and so on, that disruption will or whistling, or doing any of the other things that you are intentionally doing now to stop this meeting from going forward, that is an actual disruption of the City Council of Los Angeles under Council Rule 12. So that is the one additional warning I will give to everyone who's here. If you violate Council Rule 12, you'll be subject to removal from the meeting. I can't be any more clear in stating that. If someone is ordered removed from the meeting for causing a disruption, they will be subject to Council Rule 7. Okay, the gentleman that I have ordered removed from the meeting is continuing to make audible noise, and he needs to be removed. The disruption is continuing.
And just to be clear, the president is referring to the guy who's standing up and shouting right now with the glasses and the beard.
Sergeants, please identify whoever continues to whistle, because that person is also constituting a disruption of this meeting.
So I think I can
Whoever
tell you
is
who it
whistling now, I'm instructing you to stop whistling immediately. Stop whistling immediately. All right, that's it. Whoever's whistling needs to be removed.
So it's
Sergeants, remove whoever is whistling from this room.
It's the older gentleman with the glasses and the white beard right there.
No, actually, Mr. City Attorney, let's allow the sergeants to identify who that is. I don't know whether it's Mr. Akili or not. The sergeants can identify whoever that person is, and they will be removed. Mr. Akili is continuing to disrupt the meeting, and he's being removed and will be subject to Council Rule 7. Sergeants, whoever is continuing to whistle needs to be removed from this meeting. All right, thank you. What's the first order of business?
Approval the minutes of November 29, 2022.
All right, the person who is sitting on the left in the denim jacket with the black mask on is disrupting the meeting. Please be silent so we can continue with our meeting. All right. Councilmember Price moves. Councilmember Hutt seconds the approval of the minutes for November 29th. The two women who are standing on the right side on my right should be removed from the meeting. They've continued to disrupt the meeting after several warnings. Please remove from the meeting. They are ordered excluded under Council Rule 12 and are subject to Council Rule 7. Sergeants, whoever is clapping their hands is ordered to stop. And the individuals that I've ordered excluded are continuing to disrupt the meeting as they're slowly walking through the center aisle, continuing to shout so that the city council meeting cannot proceed. Despite being ordered removed from the meeting and despite the sergeants escorting them to the door.
And arguing with the sergeants all the way.
Madam Clerk, what's the next order of business?
Mr. President, commendatory resolutions for approval?
Councilmember Bonin moves. Councilmember Lee seconds. Next.
Mr. President, would council like all items?
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. There's a gentleman shouting on my left. Sergeants, the gentleman who's shouting on the left, please remove him from the meeting for disrupting the orderly conduct of this council's meeting. Please, sir, you're ordered removed from the meeting. Subject to Council Rule 12 and Council Rule 7, you're actually disrupting the meeting and continuing to disrupt the meeting even after you've been ordered removed. The person on my left in the red shirt, sergeants, is actively disrupting the meeting pursuant to Council Rule 12 and Council Rule 7, should be removed. They're ordered removed. You're ordered removed.
So, sir, you were ordered to leave the room quietly.
That person
You're not doing
continues
so. You've been
to
ordered
shout.
removed.
That person continues to shout and disrupt the meeting after being ordered removed.
And unfortunately, he's still shouting and barely moving as he argues with the sergeants on the way out. And both of the last two people are making a great deal of noise as they leave. Just for the record, they're moving slowly, one of them backwards.
Madam Clerk, let's run through the agenda, please.
Mr. President, would council like all items to go forthwith today?
Without objection, that will be the order. Okay.
So, Mr. President, the woman that you had talked about before in the denim jacket and black mask is now ringing a cowbell.
Yes, she's been personally warned multiple times. Sergeants, please remove that person with the cowbell from the meeting. She's actually disrupting the meeting pursuant to Council Rule 12 and will now be subject to Council Rule 7. She's ordered excluded.
So,
you are ordered removed from the meeting. Stop ringing your cowbell and leave the meeting.
So, Madam, please leave quietly now. And she's not doing it. She's been ordered removed. So, just for the people listening at home, I'm sorry that we're being delayed. The woman's moving very slowly, ringing the cowbell the entire way. She's taking her time.
So the responsive chanting in response to the person with the cowbell who's been excluded is actually disrupting this meeting as well. Everyone who's responding with the responsive chant is actively disrupting this meeting pursuant to Council Rule 12. And you're ordered to stop. Sergeant, the individual in the center aisle there next on my right continues to disrupt the meeting despite my instructions to not chant during the meeting, so please remove him from the meeting for causing an actual disruption under Council Rule 12. He's subject to Council Rule 7. Please leave the room, sir. You're ordered excluded. Please leave the room silently so we can proceed with the meeting.
He's moving and shouting as he goes, so sorry it's delaying us further.
All right. Madam Clerk, where were we on the agenda?
Mr. President.
Mr. Reedy, please be silent. Mr. Reedy, please be silent. Mr. Reedy is ordered excluded from this meeting for causing an actual disruption under Council Rule 12, and he is subject to Council Rule 7. Mr. Reedy, you're ordered excluded.
So, Mr. Reedy, please leave quietly. You've been ordered removed for
Mr.
disrupting
Reedy,
the
you're
meeting.
ordered excluded. Please leave the room. Please leave the room, sir. You're ordered excluded. No, sir, you need to stop disrupting this meeting so that the City Council can proceed with its business. Please leave the room.
So Mr. Reedy's still shouting very loudly as he leaves.
Mr. Reedy continues to shout as he's being escorted out of the meeting. We can't proceed until he stops shouting or gets to the door. All right, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, there's a request to hold 21 and 22 on the desk, and items 1 through 8 are items which public hearings have been held. Items 9 through 14 are items which public hearings have not been held. Items 15 through 20 are closed session items considered by the Budget and Finance Committee. Items 21 and 22 are closed session items waived by the Budget and Finance Committee. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Thank you. So we're going to hold items 21 and 22, which were waived by Budget and Finance, and those will be considered in closed session. Mr. Price.
To also call 14 special for an amendment, item 14.
Very good. Do you have your amendment available?
Pardon? It's being circulated now, Mr. President.
It's being circulated. Okay. So if, Mr. City Attorney, do you have the Mr. Price's amendment yet? Okay, I'm not sure who's yelling now, but whoever it is, they're disrupting the meeting. Exclude them from the meeting pursuant to Council Rule 12 for causing an actual disruption. And that person is subject to Council Rule 7. Remove them, sergeants. Thank you.
Is that it?
Okay. So we're circulating the amendment under item 14. Are there any other items to call special, members? Mr. Lee.
Item 18 for a separate vote, please.
Okay, item 18. Any other items to call special, members?
Sorry, Mr. Lee, for clarification, is that 18 or 19? 18. Thank you.
Okay, any other items to call special, members? Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Mr. President. On item 19 for a separate no vote, please. Item 19.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 19 will be held. Any other specials, members? Okay, seeing no other specials, Madam Clerk, what's available for us to vote on?
Mr. President, Council may now vote on items 1 through 8, sir.
All right. Items 1 through 8 are now before us. Let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
12 ayes.
All right, are there any other items available
yes.
for us to vote on?
Yes, Mr. President. There are closed session items that were heard in Budget and Finance Committee, sir, and those would be items 15 through 17 and item 20. Shall I read the amount, sir?
Yes, and as to those items, Budget and Finance has recommended approval of the City Attorney's recommendations. Go ahead and read those recommendations, please.
Yes, sir. Item number 15, in the case entitled Leroy Arnold versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $200,000 in settlement. Item number 16, in the case entitled Inge Famulara versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $225,000 in settlement. Item number 17, in the case entitled Miguel Cias et al. Versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $434,706.52 in settlement. And finally, item number 20, in the case entitled Lou Vince versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to adopt the City Attorney's recommendations.
Thank you very much. Those matters are now before us. Members, if no one has questions or concerns, let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
12 ayes.
Okay, we're ready now to proceed to public comment, but before we do that, Mr. City Attorney, the substitute motion on item 14 has now been circulated. Oh.
Now I do. So I'm going to read out the moving clauses for the public. They are, I therefore move that the City Council, subject to the approval of the mayor, authorize the general manager of the Los Angeles Housing Department or designee to 1, effectuate a bridge loan of up to $3,125,000 from the Low and Moderate Income Housing Fund, that's the LMIHF, to Casa de Rosa Campus LP for the Casa de Rosa project located at 2600 South Hoover Street, subject to the terms noted below, and cause these funds to be transferred to the appropriate accounts for this project. So, for a total amount of $3,125,000, the term payable in full upon the earlier of 1, conversion to permanent housing, or 2, 12 months from execution of the loan documents, and an interest of 3% per annum. 2, draft, negotiate, and execute loan documents to provide a bridge loan of up to $3,125,000, subject to the approval of the city attorney as to form. 3, prepare controller instructions subject to the approval of the chief legislative analyst. 4, distribute LMIHF funds from the protected advance bridge loan upon review by the housing department and the city attorney to a determination by the housing department at sole discretion that dispersed funds will not be used to subsidize other project cost overruns and shall only be used to pay either 1, wages due to contractors, subcontractors who are not subject to fines or penalties imposed by DIR, or 2, other appropriate costs that must be paid in order for the project to convert to permanent financing and fully repay the senior construction loan. And finally, 5, report within 60 days on the status of the protective advance repayment and resolution of the pending prevailing wage matters. And I further move that the controller be authorized to implement the instructions and expend funds upon receipt of proper demand by the general manager of the housing department or designee, signed by Karen Price and seconded by Mr. O'Farrell.
Very good. Thank you very much. We can now proceed with public comment, and we'll take, first we'll take the speakers who are here in chambers. We'll start with Arnold Sachs. need to come from the side, Mr. Sachs. Oh, I'm sorry. While Mr. Sachs is making his way to the podium, Madam Clerk, if you could please read in the call-in information for members of the public who wish to participate in this meeting virtually, and then I'd ask the City Attorney to refer to our rules for public comment. Madam Clerk.
As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute. Again, call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute.
For members of the public calling in or in the audience, when it's your turn, please state which of the agenda items you'd like to speak on. You have 1 minute per item to speak, up to 3 minutes total, and 1 minute for general public comment if you wish. Please speak to the items before beginning general public comment. We'll tell you when your time's up. When speaking on the agenda items, you need to be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not on topic, or if we can't tell whether you're on topic, you'll get one brief warning from you, the president. At that point, you need to get immediately clearly on topic. If you don't, or you again stray off topic, you'll forfeit the rest of your speaking time and we'll move on to the next speaker. The items open for public comment are items 9 to 14 and 21 and 22. That's 9 to 14 and 21 and 22. You're, of course, free to speak on any of the other items or anything else within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city in general public comment. For members of the public calling in, as you were told, when it's your turn, an automated Zoom voice will prompt you to press star 6 to unmute yourself. If you don't do so, council staff will prompt you once more, usually by reading off the last 4 digits of your phone number. At that point, you need to promptly press star 6 to unmute yourself, or unfortunately, you'll get passed over and you'll forfeit your speaking time. Finally, we understand for people dialing in that you may be listening on multiple devices, your channel 35 or computer, but when it's your turn to speak, please turn down the volume on those other devices right away. Because of time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, and also feedback, it really creates a great deal of confusion if you're listening on multiple devices. Also, because of the time delay, please keep one ear to the phone so that you hear in real time when it's your turn to press star 6. If you're only listening on another device, because of the time delay, you may not hear right away and not press star 6 quickly, and you might get passed over and forfeit your speaking time. And with that, we're ready to begin public comment. And sorry, Mr. Sachs, that we had you standing up at the podium. Which items would you like to speak on?
Oh, I was speaking on item number 9 and 10, and I don't remember what else I signed up. You signed up on the closed session items, but you already passed those.
Okay, so that's fine. You've got items, we'll just say 9 to 14 and 21 and 22, which are those closed sessions.
Thank you very much.
So we'll set the clock for 3 minutes.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Good morning. Hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. That was a wonderful celebration earlier this morning. So I'm speaking on item 9 and 10, which are essentially the same thing, except they're a little bit different. And it's that little difference that makes a whole hell of a lot of difference. Item 9 refers to a case, City of Los Angeles v. Purdue Pharma, LP et al. And item 10 refers to the City of Los Angeles versus Purdue Pharma, capital LP et al., but it's underlined. So I'm wondering why item 10 is underlined and item 9 is not. And then additionally, Mr. City Attorney, do you proofread any of this bullshit? I have a copy of an agenda from August 5th, 2022. New York Rifle and Pistol Association, V.S. Bruin. That's item 17 on that agenda. from August 5th, 2022. That was early this year. Item 16, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association Incorporated v. Bruin. So why is item 16 a V and item 17 a VS? You have V's in all these court cases. But this one clearly states New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. The other one, item 16, is italicized. So why is it different? Can you explain that, Mr. City Attorney? Do you look at any of this stuff, or you just collect your paycheck and shove it up your ass? I don't mean to be rude, but you got a big ass. So I'm just asking a question. Can somebody answer that question? Why is it a VS versus a V? It used to be VS.
So
Court
Mr. Sachs,
cases were decided
can
versus
we get to the substance of the items?
I am relating to the subject of the item. This says V. That's not a versus. That's a V. What's a small v? That's a definition of a verb. You use a V to define a verb. That's what that's for. You don't use a V for a case. You use a versus. And versus is VS. It's always been a VS until when? Till you decided to change the shit on this agenda. Why did you change it? Who's accountable? What are you doing? This place is going to hell in a handbag. And you just sit here like dumb shits. That's fine. But the people are getting screwed over. So this past week, there was football, there was basketball, there was soccer, FIFA. There was no social distancing. How come? What the fuck is going on with that shit? Has anybody done any inspecting? You have any inspectors to go to the 99-cent store or the Dollar Tree store that are located throughout the city of Los Angeles and look at the prices and say, hey, that's a 99-cent store. Why are they charging $1.50 or $1.75 or $3 for items when the store clearly says it's a 99-cent store or it's a Dollar Tree store? It clearly says $1, and they're charging more. Who does the inspecting? And I've got a card from Social Security I'd like to give to the Sergeant Arms. I'd like to hold it up. It says USC. That's United States Court.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sachs. Your time's expired. Our next speaker is Gustav. Mr. Sachs, don't disrupt this meeting. Your time has expired. You had your say. Sit down. Our next speaker is Gustavo Lopez. Mr. Lopez, you need to come around this side.
Good morning to everyone.
Hi, which items had you signed up for?
I'm sorry?
Which items?
Public comment.
Great, so you have a minute. Please begin.
Thousands of children out there have no parents, have no mothers, have no sisters, have no brothers, because they are dying, being homeless. It's so hard for you people who work for California to get $1, to buy one bottle of water, to give my people that out there that are dying, waiting for water, waiting for food, waiting for housing. Isn't that your job? Touch your heart. We are brothers and sisters, all of us, you like it or not. There's only one creator, which is our Father. Each of you are gonna get what you deserve. Thousands of children are out there without brother, without sister, without father. Why? because these pigs in blue and khakis have killed them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. And then we have a number of sign-ups by initial. R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5. None of those people who signed up with those initials seem to be
So we have at least one person that
approaching
you've called. and
the podium.
She'll be coming to the podium momentarily.
Okay.
So when you reach the podium, which items had you signed up for?
Necesito traducción para que me den más tiempo, por favor.
Claro,
Give me more
momentito.
time, please. I need an interpreter for them to give me more time, please,
Para decirlo correctamente lo que necesito decir.
so that
por
I
favor.
can say correctly what I need to say.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Necesito que el presidente de Estados Unidos y el presidente de México escuchen esta petición.
I need for the President of the United States and the President of Mexico to listen to this petition.
En noviembre 8 de 2019,
On November 8th,
la policía de West Police me sacó de mi casa sin ninguna razón, diciendo que me iban a arrestar si no me salía.
the police kicked me out of my house, stating that I was going to be arrested if I didn't go out.
En diciembre 19 de 2019, del mismo año,
December 19th, 2019, same year,
se metieron a mi casa unos delincuentes en México con pistola
some intruders went into my house in Mexico with pistols
para sacar a la gente que me rentaba en mi propiedad, poniendo en vida de la gente que está ahí hasta este momento. Los amenazan con pistola y no se quieren salir.
to kick out the people who is inside my property, and up to this time they're threatening them to kick them out if they don't come out.
Estoy diciendo esto para que todos los del concilio
I'm saying this
sean responsables de mi vida y de la vida de mi hija,
so that all the persons in the city council be responsible for my life and my daughter's life,
y de todas las personas que me quieren ayudar,
and for all the persons who want to help me,
porque este odio de crimen lo inició la policía de Los Ángeles, del West Police, por no haber seguido
because this hate crime was initiated by the West Police for not
los
continuing to
14 police report que yo tenía en contra de los vecinos que ya demandé.
the police, 14 police reports that I had against my business.
Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias.
All right. I don't see anyone else here who signed up for public comment in chambers, so let's go ahead and take the first caller, please. Let's take the first caller for public comment.
Good morning. Hello.
Speaker.
Hi.
What items would you like to speak on?
I'll speak on all available items, and I'll speak on general public comment. I do have a question first. This closed settlement, session settlement items, when do I speak on those? Now, or is there another section for that?
For you and everybody else dialing in, so items 21 and 22, which are the Hoffman and Garcia settlements, are open for public comment. The other ones, we've already taken public comment, but you can, of course, talk about those in general if you want. So for right now, we'll set the clock for 3 minutes, and you can speak on items 9 through 14 and 21 and 22, which are the two settlements, followed by a minute for general, and then you can talk about any of the other items then if you want. So please begin, Speaker.
All right. And of course, it goes for everybody else, Bobble. Krikorian, why don't you please remove yourself and all these other criminals under anti-corruption council rules? You removed the whole public from the meeting. It's a disgrace to democracy. Look at this empty clown room. Number 9 is establish a separate account for opioid settlement funds for Purdue Pharma. Number 10 is related to the vote on the same thing. Number 9, I object to the wording. It reads in here, this honorable body, as this honorable body directs, referring to the sleazy council of corruption. This is ridiculous. I demand that this wording be removed. Should be eliminated altogether from this item. What honor? Wesson gone, removed. Cedillo, corruption. De Leon, corruption. Martinez gone. Ridley Thomas on trial, corruption. Ridley Uncle Thomas, that is. Huizar, millions of dollars on trial. Englander in jail. What honor? You people are honorable? The sleazy council of corruption is honorable? With 70,000 homeless people on the street? This is how they got there, public. I demand that this wording be eliminated from this item. There is no honor of the sleazy council. Look at this empty chamber of the public.
We seem to have veered off topic a little bit. If we could stick with the items for the moment, please.
I am talking about the item. Everything I talked about is about the item. I'm talking about the wording of this item, Babo. Shut your damn mouth. You've eliminated all the public. Number 11, the mayoral appointment, Mr. Tarika, to the Department of Cultural Affairs. This appointment should respect all the people. It should protect all the people as well. As an example, the face of homelessness sitting there, Marquise Dawson and the rest of this council took the AFIBA Center, the Black Cultural 20-year Cultural Center, evicted them, the face of homelessness evicted them, turned it into a COVID testing site. This appointment should represent all the people and all cultures. Could you do that to a Jewish or Armenian site? No. This mayoral appointment is a joke and should represent everyone.
You can go into general if you wish.
Thank you. These closed session items are mostly LAPD abuse payout. I'll say it again, the black population represents 9% of the city's population, 20% of the sleazy, corrupt city council, 50% of the jail population nearly, 50% of the homeless population, the highest unemployment. Why, public? I'm talking to the public, not you corrupt bastards who can't, Ramen has hemorrhoids or something. She can't sit in her seat like a little child, looking at her phone, and the rest of these corrupt bastards. Our biggest problem is the black community has no representation. Our elected officials, the worst thing that's ever happened to the black community in the city, indeed, Marquise Dawson takes the black community employment.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker, what items would you like to speak on? Speaker with the last 4 digits 1148, please press *6 to unmute yourself.
Are you there, Speaker? So if you're there, press *6 right away, or we're going to have to move on to the next person. Okay, if they're not unmuting, I think we need to move on.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
Yeah, it's Eric Previn. I'd like to speak on the available items in the general public comment.
Sure. So you have 3 minutes for items 9 to 14 and 21 and 22, followed by a minute in general in which you can talk about the other items if you wish. Please begin, Mr. Previn.
Okay, well, welcome to Mr. Daniel Tarika as I guess he's been made, instead of interim, he'll be made the full-time GM of director of the Cultural Affairs Department, which has about 60 employees and over 100 part-time employees. And they do a great job of bringing the culture to Los Angeles through their loose network of theaters and places. And like on item 3 yesterday, which was the protection of a very lovely community theater they're trying to effectuate. But Mr. Harris Dawson's being such a nasty guy about it. He had put it on the agenda for a special meeting, but then denied the comments of half the people who showed up because he would continue it. I don't know if he's trying to help them or hurt them, but it's very rude when people take time and show up and then give their testimony. So that was an appalling nightmare. Shifting over to the request for an addition of an assistant general manager at Brexton Park to be exempt on a day when the brilliant city council dragged the IBEW down to the room, blocked all the protesters, and pushed through one of the most robust Garcetti exit balloons of payment to the hard line front workers out in the utility lines, who, I have to tell you something, today in the south of this country, my heart goes out, and they're out there every single minute trying to restore power. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's why it's so appalling that the DWP is also mired in what seems to be yet another overbilling scandal. I mean, I can't believe it. I am being like double hit on my DWP bill in ways that are, when I called to get an explanation, it sounded like, Sheila Kuehl trying to explain why half is better than, is twice as much. In any case, listen, the assistant general manager is an important position. We do have to fill it. The main task is to educate Nithya Rama, who's extremely intelligent. I want to clarify, she went to MIT. She knows what she's doing. And she'll be able to do a quick calculation and see that the large, giant structure in an open space is a terrible idea at Studio City Recreation Park. And she can stop, if she's already started, reaching out for more money. And if Karen Bass wants to pick this one up, she's going to get, we're going to have to put her on blast, because that's a figure of speech, by the way, because that is outrageous that they're going to try to pick up this Garcetti legacy of a giant box in the last little field in our community. Under no circumstances, Mr. Krikorian. Nice try, okay, is all I will say. And he's doing a nice job on the 712 connection. The two of you have been so diligent in defining this meeting as one would define a kindergarten. Okay, so I think that that's what we need to do. We need to send these kids to the principal. We have to do it. Otherwise, we cannot do the people's business.
You can go into general if you wish, Mr. Previn.
Yes, I'm heading for home, which is to overstuff the agenda in such a way that the exiting council members and Mr. Krikorian, who's having a brief run where he extended his little time as council president. I don't know why, when the sensible reason was it was going to be 30 days before we would know who had won the mayor's race. Yet it was within just a few days, obviously, so that was unnecessary. And yet there's some sneaky reason why we're doing it the way we're doing it. And I know it's tied to the state election cycle, but all the eyes are narrowing and wondering what are they up to. And that's why we also are watching for these items. I saw Ridley Thomas's little maneuvers and Mr. De Leon's today. They're being disguised by the helpful, cheerful helpers, Bob Blumenfield, Monica Rodriguez, and all the others. Look, I want this body to succeed. Okay, we have an opportunity now. There are some new, fresh eyes. They're going to quickly be blinded by what they see, and it's going to be hard. But let's try by respecting the idea.
Thank you,
that
Mr.
it's
Previn.
not one item on the budget. It's not
Thank
one
you.
item.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
So,
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you now. Which items did you want to speak on?
Can I just give general public comment?
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
All right, sorry, 1 second. In 47 states, including California, there have been 124 attacks on drag queens this year. Now more than ever, exploring gender identity has become deadly, and LGBTQIA youth everywhere are scared. I'm scared, and I've been scared even before the Colorado Springs shooting, even before the violence against trans and non-binary people, because I'm constantly worried that I will be attacked and killed for being who I am. And in the most diverse cities in the world, people in positions of power need to take a stance, or people will continue to die. The violence speaks to the larger issue of unregulated selling of guns in the nation. Los Angeles must continue to uplift efforts to reduce gun violence, making it harder to purchase guns and putting limits on the sale of ghost guns. More importantly, we must stop the misinformation about drag queens in the media. As a haven for queer people, LA specifically needs to amplify campaigns and public messaging to combat hate against our community. If Los Angeles wants to truly preserve the diversity of its people, it must make efforts to protect it too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Mr.
Hello?
Murphy. Yeah, hi, Mr. Murphy. We can hear you. Which items would you like to speak on?
General public comment.
Very good. You have a minute. Please begin.
The meeting was a fucking joke yesterday. I came late. It wasn't my fault. The buses were slow getting to the downtown. And I want to say to the LAPD, don't you ever send me to don't you ever tell me to go to the clerk's office. It wasn't my fault that I was late at the meeting. You got some nerve. I hope you get, I'm thinking about boycotting the city council meeting until things get better. I'm sick and tired of your damn COVID vaccinations. I'm sick of everything. This meeting was a joke. Yes, it's a dog and pony show. F you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on? Speaker, what
Yes,
items would you like to
sir.
speak on? Hello.
Yes, sir. Public comment. Can you hear me?
Sure, loud and clear. You have a minute. Please go ahead.
All right. First of all, I want to congratulate Miss Bass. I wish her the best. I have to believe in her and hope that she'll keep all of her promises and that she'll work with this new council and we can achieve and return our city to greatness again. And to the police officers there at City Council, you guys have done such a fabulous job of protecting the citizens of this city by handling the demonstrators with integrity and kindness. I know Mr. Bobo Martinez wants you to move them along a little faster, but then we have another situation. We have possible injury and lawsuits. So again, gentlemen, you and ladies, you guys are doing a great job. Continue it, and let's work together to return this city to greatness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
Hi, this is Donald in Los Angeles. I'd like to speak on agenda items number 4, number 6, number 14, and general public comment.
Okay, so we've voted on 4 and 6. You can talk about them in general, but we haven't voted on 14. So please start with item 14, and we'll give you a minute, and then we'll go on to general. You can talk about the others then. So please begin.
Thank you. Agenda item number 14 is about 2600 Hoover Street. I would definitely recommend City Council votes no on that. That's a real shame that you guys are just converting real estate into public housing. That's a real crime, you know. I'm not sure you have the owner of that property there. That it looks like some funny business where it seems a shame that you guys are stealing people's real estate to make public housing. Okay, my general comment. This is agenda item number 6, 11950 Missouri Avenue. This looks like LA City property, that's correct, but it's surrounded by illegal development. All those addresses around that property on agenda item number 6, all those properties marked And agenda item number 4, 301 West 49th Street. It looks like this is a manipulated address and a manipulated assessor report. I wanted to point out to the LA people listening, people paying attention, that the City Council of Los Angeles is very much the cause of the homeless crisis, that they've caused the homeless crisis, bringing illegal development into the city, allowing criminals to illegally develop apartment buildings. They get in trouble, and then they try and take them over. You know, they're all working together.
Thank you.
Criminals start
Thank you,
a
Speaker.
housing project illegally, and then...
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, sir. Next
Next
speaker, please.
speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you. Which items would you like to speak on?
Well, I think I want to speak on all items, but I'm not really sure of your procedure, and I have public comment.
Okay, so
I wanted to address the homeless crisis, the worst humanitarian crisis in the country.
Okay.
And for years, we watched 2 mayors sell out our city to developers to build luxury projects. We are among the many who speak up for our RSO and affordable communities who appeal every time they're being thrown out of their homes to try and save their homes, and yet this body continuously denies their appeals. Some of them wind up homeless. They've stood in line at City Council begging you to save their homes for a Cherokee project, a hotel conversion that CD13 still approved. They were living in cars. It made the news. And the City Council still denies all the appeals of these people begging to save their RSO homes. This is an American tragedy. I have a message from Ms. Yaraman, who came to our neighborhood and told us she has no encampments where she lives. We're surrounded by them. She obviously has kids in schools that are not surrounded by encampments and didn't pay attention to the children who testified about what they're enduring getting into their schools and refusing to support 4118. I think people who vote on these things should be forced to take their kids to those schools for 2 weeks and live in neighborhoods like ours before they can stop, before they continue putting kids at harm.
Thank you, Speaker.
And refusing to try and protect them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on? Speaker with the last 4 digits, 9534. What items would you like to speak on?
Hi, good morning. I'd like to speak on general public comment, please.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
Hi, good morning, City Council members. Now, I'd like to talk about the shooting that happened in Colorado Springs at an LGBTQ club. Now, here's the thing: the community of Los Angeles and all across the countries are pushing back against Black Lives Matters, who wants to promote and continue to promote their agenda of defunding the police. And what they don't realize is that their agenda is putting the LGBTQ community in danger when it comes to their safety. And now you could see why there's a rise of hate crime going on in the city of Los Angeles and all across the country. And just to echo that previous caller that talked about drag queen shows, what that caller needs to understand is that drag queen shows need to be age appropriate. If it's not age appropriate for children.
Thank you, Speaker.
Next speaker, what items would you like to speak on?
Good morning, council members, council president Krikorian, Mr. Pablo. My name is Lionel Mares, CD6. General public comment, please.
Absolutely. Please begin.
Yes, sir. I'd like to let the council members know that about last week, the LAPD Commission voted to approve the request of Chief Moore's budget request to increase their budget. I feel strongly that the LA City Council, current and the future City Council members, should vote no on the LAPD Commission budget request. The LAPD, LAFD, and the LADWP are the biggest. They consume the most money from the city, and I feel like the money should be redirected to other city departments to provide services direct services to our communities, to our neighborhoods, to uplift many underrepresented neighborhoods. So I please ask the City Council, current and future council members to vote no on the LEPD's budget request. They are already have the highest budget.
Thank you.
And
thank you, Speaker.
Council President, there are no more speakers on the queue.
Thank you very much. We had a belated sign up by Mr. Patel here in the chamber. So Mr. Patel, come on up. You need to come around to the side. And Mr. Patel is the last speaker that we have here in the council chambers as well.
And
so
which
welcome.
items? Thank you, Council President. It is always an honor to speak to Angelenos from this podium of the people, where truth rings out against incompetence, corruption, and racism. The sometimes honorable City Council represents one of the greatest cities on the planet, our City of Angels. And you have an opportunity, we all have an opportunity, to transform our system, set the example, and literally lead humanity past the European Christian capitalist global hegemony we've been saddled with since 1619. Divided and conquered, we shall not remain. And people who lose their offices may mumble while people speak truth to power from this podium. But I'm not here to yell. I'm here to encourage the city family to work together, because there is so much opportunity for us to do it. And in 1 minute of public comment, I can't do that much. I was going to talk about surreptitious recordings and how they made it clear to all of us we need to transform our thinking.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Patel.
Mr. Patel.
So I have a couple items that I'd like to speak on specifically that are on the agenda. Item number 1 was the report. I missed that, so I won't speak on that. Can I speak on some of the other items? I know it's like, what, 2 minutes?
So
which items?
Item number 9 is the opioid settlement.
So
item number 11, the Department of Cultural Affairs General Manager, an important position. Item 14, a bridge loan for 2600 South Hoover Street.
So
and
those-
item number 18, closed session. So if I could speak to those.
So yeah, you'll have 3 minutes for those. Please begin.
A moment of silence because people aren't paying attention to what's going on in these chambers.
I'm sorry,
A
Mr.
longer
Patel.
moment of silence because people aren't paying attention to these items.
Speak to the items, please.
So the opioid settlement. Can I have a moment of silence for all the people who have died because of that? Thank you for doing this. This is an important, I won't take the moment of silence, that's just figuratively, rhetorically. Thank you, Council President, for giving me some discretion. I appreciate it. I came late. I did take public transit here from Chatsworth, the corner of the city where the opioid epidemic has killed people across the country. And this settlement and how we use it, how we pay attention to how our resources are being allocated is so important. And that's why we have a new city controller, because people want to pay attention to that. So item 14, people want to pay attention to the bridge loans we're giving to different properties. How and is Casa de Rosa Campus LP given campaign contributions? I don't want to get into all that. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. I want to work with you, and so do so many people who come here, but now you got an extra bridge, another way to keep people from speaking on the items that matter.
And you will need to speak to the items that are on the agenda because you've already expired your time with general public comments. So speak to the items, please.
So I thought I was talking on the opioid settlement and how those funds are going to be used appropriately to address this tragedy. But if I can only speak to 40 seconds on that and you're asking me to move on to the next item, 11, cultural affairs, the general manager. Kind of funny how a general manager of a whole department is getting put into place right when we're going to have a transition. New council members, new mayor, the general managers of all these departments, we all know they're important. We know you decide who you want to appoint before it comes to the public. You know, people are having side conversations about who they want and what positions they want to have them for the next round. Some of those conversations aren't available to the public. I'm saying this because some of the council members are discussing things, losing council members. Ha! Feels good to say that a little bit. You know, I've been coming here for a long time, making public comment, and the problems are the same. The housing pandemic, the lack of trust in the public.
So can we stick to the items that you...
I got 15 seconds left, sir.
To stick with the items, please.
So the last session I'd like to talk about is an item number 18, closed session. And you will retreat
so actually,
to the closed session and continue to make
Actually, we already satisfied public comment on that
private
one?
while the public is here cut off.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Patel. Thank you very much. That will close public comment on all agenda items, and it will close general public comment. We've taken all speakers who called in and appeared here in person. So, Madam Clerk, what is now before us?
Mr. President, Council can vote on items 9 through 13 and item 18. And for item 18, may I read the settlement amount?
Yes, please do so.
18, in the case entitled Richard Castillo versus City of Los Angeles et al., there is a recommendation to expend up to $750,000 in settlement. Council may vote on those items, sir.
Thank you very much. Items 9 through 13 and item 18 are now before us. On those items, if no member wishes to be heard, let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
12 ayes.
Very good, thank you. That will bring us to item 14, which requires 2 votes. The first vote is whether to substitute, as requested by Mr. Price. So on the motion to substitute, let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the votes.
12 ayes.
All right, so the substitute motion is now before us on item 14. It's been circulated and is before all members. On that item, let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
12 ayes.
Thank you. That'll take us next to item number 19. Is there any member wishing to be heard on item 19? Seeing none, let's go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the votes.
11 ayes, 1 no.
Very good. Madam Clerk, what remains before us?
Mr. President, that would be 21 and 22, sir.
All right, those items will be taken up in closed session. So council will now proceed into closed session. Sergeants, if you could please secure the chambers, and we'll take up items 21 and 22.
If it looks suspicious, if it is unsolicited, if the link is to an unknown website address, just delete it.
Honor the light each person has to give by walking together as a united community. The Walking in Our Light procession celebrates the light in all people and honors those who have helped create a safe and nurturing neighborhood where every person, family, and business can thrive. Tosco Theater Director John Lawrence Rivera will lead the walk, adding elements of dance, music, and poetry that represent the diversity that makes up the Canoga Park neighborhood. The Walking in Our Light procession takes place Saturday, December 3rd at 4:30 p.m., beginning at the Tosco Theater. Don't miss the reception immediately after. For more information or to make reservations, check out culturela.org/events or email dolores.chavez@lacity.org. It's time to bundle up in your warmest holiday sweater and get your seat for the annual Port of Los Angeles Holidays by the Sea. The LA waterfront is the perfect place to host this annual kickoff to the holiday season. The tree lighting ceremony at the Maritime Museum will light the way for all the arts, crafts, music, and hot cocoa. Of course, Timmy the Duck will be there as the perfect backdrop for the main event, the Boat Parade. Boats of all shapes and sizes float through the harbor, lit up and decorated like you'll only see in Los Angeles. The big man himself will cruise by in a seaworthy vessel, fit for Santa, before the night is over. Holidays by the Sea kicks off in the Port of Los Angeles at 4 p.m. Saturday, December 3rd. For more information, log on to lawaterfront.org. The Valley's most neighborly town, Granada Hills, invites you home for the holidays with its annual parade. In its 39th year, the largest parade in the Valley will honor the traditions of the holidays and the magic of the season shared with family and friends at home. Over 3,000 youth are participating in this year's parade in marching bands and drill teams. You'll see floats, antique cars, and equestrian groups along the 1.8-mile parade route through the heart of the San Fernando Valley. No parade is complete without Mr. and Mrs. Claus officially ringing in the holiday season. The Granada Hills Holiday Parade kicks off Sunday, December 4th at 1:30 p.m. For more information, check out GranadaHillsHolidayParade.org. And that's a look at some things to do. The Port of LA and Japan External Trade Organization Los Angeles office, referred to as JETRO LA, signed a new cooperative agreement. The Memorandum of Understanding promotes cooperation in key areas, including sustainability and environmental initiatives. To improve supply chain efficiency, the port will share best practices related to its Port Optimizer digital community system. The port will utilize introductions to Japanese companies facilitated through the MOU, enlisting their expertise on environmental initiatives. Discover the latest information about what is new at the Port of LA by visiting portoflosangeles.org. The LA Civil and Human Rights and Equity Department is accepting applications for 2 openings on the Transgender Advisory Council. Created in 2016, TAC is a permanent council of community leaders that advise LA on how to best serve the needs of transgender residents. Members meet monthly on Zoom and work with the LA Civil Rights Department to establish programs and policies to serve the community. The positions are open until filled. However, applicants must be at least 18 years old, attend monthly meetings, and are expected to serve for 2 years. Visit civilandhumanrights.lacity.org and select Transgender Advisory Council under the Commissions tab for more information. The LA Department of Aging is asking for the public's assistance in helping older adults during the holidays through Project Care. Celebrating 15 years of giving, Project Care provides low-income older adults gift bags of needed items during the winter holidays. December 9th is a drop-off deadline for gift bag items, which can include clothing, books, toiletries, and more. In addition to providing items for the gift bags, the public can also donate money, sponsor an older adult, or volunteer. For more details on how to make an older adult's life a little brighter during the holidays, visit givelafa.org/projectcare.
Not it. Not it. Again? Hey, Dad. Dad.
There are other ways of saving money and energy around your house. Did you know that LADWP is now offering cash rebates for you to retrofit your home to be more energy and water efficient? It's good for California, and it's good for Dad. Let's make California a better place to live, starting with our homes. To get your rebates, go to www.ladwp.com/save.
Not it.
Department of Public Health and the City of LA's Department of Aging remind you that getting vaccinated and boosted is the best way to protect yourself and your community.
And it's especially important for those at high risk of severe diseases, such as older adults and individuals who are immunocompromised or have chronic conditions.
For COVID-19 vaccination appointments or to request in-home vaccination if you or a loved one have difficulty leaving the home, please call 211 or the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health Vaccine Call Center at 833-540-0473. Open daily, 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Remember, vaccines are free and immigration status and insurance are not required.
Visit vaccinatelacounty.com for more information about how to get vaccinated.
And visit aging.lacity.org or call 213-482-7252 for information on senior services.
most effective safety improvements for reducing crashes between turning vehicles and people walking is installing protected left turn signals. As drivers wait to turn left, they focus most of their attention on yielding to oncoming cars and the traffic light itself. Research shows that looking for people walking is just an afterthought. A protected left turn is a dedicated lane and signal, usually a green arrow, that stops oncoming traffic and gives drivers making a left turn the complete right of way. Later in the cycle, people walking have an opportunity to cross with a walk signal, while drivers turning left see a red arrow. These signals reduce left turn crashes by 99%. Moving LA forward.
Scam text message the other day, and I know others did too, that I want to warn you about. These smishing scams, as they're called, are trying to get personal information like a social security number to steal our identities, financial information like a bank account or credit card number to steal our money, or they're trying to install malware on our phones to mess with our privacy and security. The text I got purported to be about the middle-class tax refund. This is the one-time payment to Californians to help as things have gotten more expensive. With the holidays approaching, many Californians are eager to receive it. This payment is being made by direct deposit or a debit card sent in the mail. But many Californians may be unaware of this program, or if they do know of it, they don't know how the money is being sent. And this creates an opening for scammers to try to take advantage of us, like the text I received. It told me I needed to activate my debit card, and it gave me a link to click on. But real tax relief debit cards can only be activated by calling California's Franchise Tax Board, the agency overseeing the program. The link in the text I received was to a company called Eastern Cargo Packer and Mover, which I could find nothing about. We've seen scams like this before. This is a reminder that we all need to be alert. Whether the text claims to be about the middle-class tax refund, unemployment insurance, or even the IRS. If it looks suspicious, if it is unsolicited, if the link is to an unknown website address, just delete it. I'm Mike Fewer, the Los Angeles City Attorney. Thanks for watching.
working together, we can and will restore peace, safety, and security.
There's a problem, it seems intractable, a collaboration across jurisdictional lines emerges, and today it's light years from where it was before.
Today we're real proud of our dog park here and the unique role it's playing in helping to provide community amenities and community development. This is not just for dogs, but it's for the residents as well.
I got a scam text message the other day, and I know others did too, that I want to warn you about. If it looks suspicious, if it is unsolicited, if the link is to an unknown website address, just delete it.
Honor the light each person has to give by walking together as a united community. The Walking in Our Light procession celebrates the light in all people and honors those who have helped create a safe and nurturing neighborhood where every person, family, and business can thrive. Tosco Theater Director John Lawrence Rivera will lead the walk, adding elements of dance, music, and poetry that represent the diversity that makes up the Canoga Park neighborhood. The Walking in Our Light procession takes place Saturday, December 3rd at 4:30 p.m., beginning at the Tosco Theater. Don't miss the reception immediately after. For more information or to make reservations, check out culturela.org/events or email dolores.chavez@lacity.org. It's time to bundle up in your warmest holiday sweater and get your seat for the annual Port of Los Angeles Holidays by the Sea. The LA waterfront is the perfect place to host this annual kickoff to the holiday season. The tree lighting ceremony at the Maritime Museum will light the way for all the arts, crafts, music, and hot cocoa. Of course, Timmy the Duck will be there as the perfect backdrop for the main event, the Boat Parade. Boats of all shapes and sizes float through the harbor, lit up and decorated like you'll only see in Los Angeles. The big man himself will cruise by in a seaworthy vessel, fit for Santa, before the night is over. Holidays by the Sea kicks off in the Port of Los Angeles at 4 p.m. Saturday, December 3rd. For more information, log on to lawaterfront.org. The Valley's most neighborly town, Granada Hills, invites you home for the holidays with its annual parade. In its 39th year, the largest parade in the Valley will honor the traditions of the holidays and the magic of the season shared with family and friends at home. Over 3,000 youth are participating in this year's parade in marching bands and drill teams. You'll see floats, antique cars, and equestrian groups along the 1.8-mile parade route through the heart of the San Fernando Valley. No parade is complete without Mr. and Mrs. Claus officially ringing in the holiday season. The Granada Hills Holiday Parade kicks off Sunday, December 4th at 1:30 p.m. For more information, check out granadahillsholidayparade.org. And that's a look at some things to do. The Port of LA and Japan External Trade Organization Los Angeles office, referred to as JETRO LA, signed a new cooperative agreement. The Memorandum of Understanding promotes cooperation in key areas, including sustainability and environmental initiatives. To improve supply chain efficiency, the port will share best practices related to its Port Optimizer digital community system. The port will utilize introductions to Japanese companies facilitated through the MOU, enlisting their expertise on environmental initiatives. Discover the latest information about what is new at the Port of LA by visiting portoflosangeles.org. The LA Civil and Human Rights and Equity Department is accepting applications for 2 openings on the Transgender Advisory Council. Created in 2016, TAC is a permanent council of community leaders that advise LA on how to best serve the needs of transgender residents. Members meet monthly on Zoom and work with the LA Civil Rights Department to establish programs and policies to serve the community. The positions are open until filled. However, applicants must be at least 18 years old, attend monthly meetings, and are expected to serve for 2 years. Visit civilandhumanrights.lacity.org and select Transgender Advisory Council under the Commissions tab for more information. The LA Department of Aging is asking for the public's assistance in helping older adults during the holidays through Project Care. Celebrating 15 years of giving, Project Care provides low-income older adults gift bags of needed items during the winter holidays. December 9th is a drop-off deadline for gift bag items, which can include clothing, books, toiletries, and more. In addition to providing items for the gift bags, the public can also donate money, sponsor an older adult, or volunteer. For more details on how to make an older adult's life a little brighter during the holidays, visit givelafa.org/projectcare.
Again? Hey, Dad. Dad.
There are other ways of saving money and energy around your house. Did you know that LADWP is now offering cash rebates for you to retrofit your home to be more energy and water efficient? It's good for California, and it's good for Dad. Let's make California a better place to live, starting with our homes. To get your rebates, go to www.ladwp.com/save.
Not it.
Department of Public Health and the City of LA's Department of Aging remind you that getting vaccinated and boosted is the best way to protect yourself and your community.
And it's especially important for those at high risk of severe diseases, such as older adults and individuals who are immunocompromised or have chronic conditions.
For COVID-19 vaccination appointments or to request in-home vaccination if you or a loved one have difficulty leaving the home, please call 211 or the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health Vaccine Call Center at 833-540-0473. Open daily, 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m.
Remember, vaccines are free and immigration status and insurance are not required.
Visit vaccinatelacounty.com for more information about how to get vaccinated.
And visit aging.lacity.org or call 213-482-7252 for information on senior services.
The single most effective safety improvements for reducing crashes between turning vehicles and people walking is installing protected left turn signals. As drivers wait to turn left, they focus most of their attention on yielding to oncoming cars and the traffic light itself. Research shows that looking for people walking is just an afterthought. A protected left turn is a dedicated lane and signal, usually a green arrow, that stops oncoming traffic and gives drivers making a left turn the complete right-of-way. Later in the cycle, people walking have an opportunity to cross with a walk signal, while drivers turning left see a red arrow. These signals reduce left turn crashes by 99%. Moving LA forward.
The City Council is now back in open session. Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Bloomfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, De Leon, Harris Dawson, Hutt, Koretz, Krikorian, Lee, O'Farrell, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez. 12 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. City Attorney.
And just for the record, on items 21 and 22, which are Adam Hoffman et al. V. City and Janet Garcia et al. V. City, there's nothing to announce pursuant to the Brown Act.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, what's next on the agenda?
Council has motions for posting and referral. Motions will be posted on the City Clerk's website shortly after the meeting for the public's viewing. To subscribe to receive copies of today's council motions to your email, please visit clerk.lacity.org.
Without objection, posted and referred.
The desk is clear, sir.
Members, any announcements? Any announcements on the left? Any announcements on my right? I see none. Are there any adjourning motions, members? Ms. Hutt, if we could all please rise for adjourning motions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, today I rise in adjournment for Earl Gales Jr. There he is. He is a premier architect, engineer, and construction professional. Gales and his firm played a leading role in scores of projects in Los Angeles in the metropolitan area. Jenkins, Gales, and Martinez were made significant contributors to buildings of the LA Metro line, Los Angeles Community College District, and California's high-speed rail system. The firm also directed and partnered on civic projects such as the former Staples Center, which is now Crypto, Los Angeles Convention Center, and Expo Park. Gales, who served as a chairman of the board for JGM, founded the company in '81 and guided it to become one of the largest minority-owned firms in the field. He received his bachelor's degree in urban planning from Cal Poly Pomona and his master's degree in urban design planning from UCLA. He created a lasting effect within the local community, serving on several education and civic boards throughout the city. He also made a long-reaching influence, serving as an advisor to 2 U.S. presidents and vice presidents throughout his life, as well as authoring books and reports that will inform future generations. Mr. Gales will forever be remembered as a loving father, grandfather, husband, and truly a kind and generous man. When I first started my business career, I wrote a feasibility study for the replacement housing for the I-105 freeway. And he was a mentor for me in that space, and even did so much as to bind my report so that when it went to the state, it looked like it should. He's somebody that reached down to younger people, helped them out. He's working on a lot of projects in the 8th and the 10th district right now. It's a Shakhtar community that he passed away, and he will be sorely missed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Price.
Yeah, if I may just add on to that, projects in the 8th district, 10th district, and the 9th district. He did some work on the convention center in the past and in currently. But his firm, a pioneering firm, a family-owned firm, just provided lots of opportunities for young professionals to grow, to develop. As Councilwoman Hutt mentioned, he was a real role model, real positive role model to all who he encountered, and not just on issues regarding architecture and art, et cetera, but he was a community guy. You know, he worked on food drives and toy drives and was always available, made himself available as a friend to the community, as a professional and just as a person. So I just would like to join in on that. His loss would be great for his family and for the community and for the profession. He was certainly a positive role model. Thank you.
Thank you both for that recognition of a man whose life will continue to have a lasting impact on our city. May he rest in peace. Any other adjourning motions, members? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.